Welcome everyone. Welcome to this session. Very warm greetings from Mercy Technologies. So let's straight away go to our agenda. Just for a revision purpose, what we have done till now is like we've seen data structures of linked list. We have done questions on stacks and queues. We did a few interview questions. Then again we started some interview questions. For example, merging two sorted arrays kind of. So what I want to say is like we have learned the theory, and using that theory and implementing a few approaches, like taking examples or using different strategies, we try to solve some problems in an easier way. So let's continue today. What I want to explain you is like I'm taking a few interview questions which are related to arrays. Okay. And we'll be doing those interview questions. For most of the array interview questions, like there may be a similar corresponding linked list interview question. For example, let's say what I did is like we have seen a question which says merge two sorted arrays, right? So we have implemented that then and there, and we saw the output was coming properly. So similarly, there will be a question related to that. I mean, merge two sorted linked list kind of. So any question that you find, which is in linked list, it may be a question which they may ask in array, or they both are interrelated kind of. And at the same time, in our previous classes also, we have seen this linked list and arrays are inversely proportional. I mean, opposite in the in the time complexity. For example, let's say you want to insert something at the end of an array, you can do it because you have an index. But if you have to insert it at the beginning, so you can, but after that you need to shift all the operations or all the positions towards your right. It again takes a time complexity of order of n. But that is not the case with linked list. I mean, like the opposite. Like for linked list, if you want to insert something at end, you take order of n time complexity. So this kind of exercise we have done. The thing that we did everything is, for example, let's say interviewer asks you to implement this in order of n, then you can actually justify saying that, in this cases, if we use a linked list, then we can do that in order of n. But if we use an array, we can do it only in order of one. So I mean, this kind of an explanations you can be giving. So that is the reason, I have given you all the base about all the operations we have done. So with this, let me go back, or maybe start with the agenda for today. So I don't know if I can cover all these programs today. Let me check how fast, or how far we can go, so we can uh, we can take all the spillover items for tomorrow's class. So previously, if you remember, we have done questions on stacks. Okay. So there was one question that I have left out. Like, I came to know that after that I did not teach that question for you, when I was checking my previous notes. So that is implementing two stacks using a single array. We'll be doing that, and then check if the string has all unique characters. This is one question. This I mean, just by seeing what is the approach that we are going to take, you can solve multiple questions of this sort. And then there is this URLify a string. Like, for example, let's say somebody gives you a website, or maybe you try to create a URL. Whenever there is a space, so instead of space, there comes this %20. Like, that happens generally when we visit most of our website pages. Okay. So we need to URLify that string. We can see that problem as well. And then we'll be doing some string compression. Like, it's not encryption or decryption, guys. It is just a simple string compression algorithm. We can see that. And then the string anagram and panagram. So these names are looking odd, or maybe you might be listening to these names for the first time, or you might already know about all this. People can come into various categories, but what I want to say is, like, I want to teach as if nobody has heard this things previously, so that everyone could be on the same page. Okay. So with this understanding, let's go back and try implementing our two stacks using two stacks using a single array. Okay, so here for implementing two stacks using a single array, I guess I'm not writing the code line by line. The reason is we have already seen how do we implement a stack, how do we implement a stack using an array. Okay, the same thing we'll be using here also, but we'll be implementing two stacks using a single array. Let me go back to the whiteboard and show you what exactly uh, we are going to do. Okay, so our question says, okay, our question says implement, sorry, let me reduce its font size. Okay, our question says implement two stacks using single array. Okay, the same thing whenever the question says implement two stacks, right? When they want us to implement a stack, which means we need to implement a stack. Stack has two important methods. The first one is push. Okay, push of I can say int x. Okay, int x, and then there is one more method which is pop. Okay, so these are the two methods that I need to implement. So let's try implementing one by one. But in our previous classes we have implemented push and pop using an array, or maybe I can show the code for that straight away for you so that you can get that kind of a revision. So what was it? It was stack, right? One second. Yeah, stacks. My stack using array, something like, yeah, my stack using an array. We have done a question something like this. I think it was 4 or 5 classes ago. So what we did is we have taken a top variable and finally we implemented a push method, something like this. We tried to check if it is full or not. And then we tried implementing pop method. Okay, we have returned it kind of. So we made sure that I told you this push and pop operation should be done in order of one time complexity, and we concluded that we were able to do that as well. So similar way, in this example, what we have done is we have implemented a single stack using a single array, right? Single stack using a single array. But here we need to implement two stacks using a single array, two stacks using a single array. So how we can do that is, for example, let's say we have an array something like this. Okay, we have an array something like this. So what we are going to do is like uh, what we can do is, for example, let's say the length of the array is length is equal to 10, let's say. So we need to implement two stacks. So ideally, as a brute force approach, or as an approach that we are doing it for the first time, if we think how we can do it, we can implement. So the straightforward example, or straightforward thing that comes in our mind is we can implement two stacks. Stack one length is equal to some, let's say, array length by 2. Okay, and then s2 length is equal to array length by 2. So which means, for example, let's say my first array or my first stack can be implemented in this part, and my second array can be implemented in this part. Okay, so just by following the similar approach that we had previously, so we can implement two stacks in it. For why? uh, in one way, what we can say is, like, my top starts from here. Let's say, using this I can implement until this part. I can name this as a top one, and I can take one more thing which is top two. Okay, so I can start from here and start implementing the same thing, the same logic that I have showed you in the previous code. We can implement the same logic. I can take top one be here, top two to be here. So this is a straightforward approach that anyone who gets in mind, but it has some memory issues, right? It has something like this. For example, let's say in my stack one, which is something like this. Okay, my stack one is something like this, s1. Okay, and there is something called s2. Okay, s2. So what I can say is, like, if I do it in this way, then then what happens is, for example, let's my stack 1 has 6 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 and then 6. So but let's say stack 2 has nothing, there's nothing in it. In that way we cannot achieve this functionality. The reason is the maximum length of the stack is 5, because the total length is 6. So in that way what we are trying to do is, even though we have 5 spaces in our second stack, we are not able to do in this approach, because we have already, we came to this overflow condition. What is our overflow condition? This is our overflow condition. So what is that? String overflow, stack overflow condition. So because of this condition we were not able to implement the same thing over here. So that is why we need to modify our approach. We need to think it in a different way. So what I want to say in this particular point is, when you come to questions of this sort, when you feel that just by halving I'm not able to do it in a more efficient way, so I can do something like this. So what is that? The alternative approach for this is, we can take a stack something like this, or maybe we can take an array something like this, and I can say my top one, okay, my top one will be starting from the first index, which is index of 0, okay, and my top two will not be starting from my middle, but top two will be starting from the other end, okay, it will be starting from the other end of the array. So as you implement the stack, for example, let's say the top one has only two elements, right? For example, 1 comma 2, okay. So with here all my first stack is over. Now let's say top two, I mean in my stack 2 it has 8 elements, let's say. So what is that? Maybe I can start implementing, for example, 10, 20, 30, 40, so on and so forth, 80, okay. What I want to tell over here is, just by tweaking our logic, or thinking that, if we have, then it is not a space efficient, manner. And if we have tops at both the ends, saying that I will increment top if something happens on my left side, or maybe I'll increment top 2 when something happens on my right side. So in that way I can implement two stacks in my single array. And that too, for example, let's say in our previous case, let's say the S2 is not having any element to it. So in that case, we can use the total length, which is 10 elements, which means which is 10 only for stack 1, right? So in this way, it becomes a memory efficient organization of our implementation. Here, what I want to say is, the code will be almost the same. Only case that you need to consider, or only case that you need to actually take into consideration, is this point, like how you are using here. What we did, top is equal to -1, right? So the thing that you need to do is, you can say top 1 is equal to -1, and then again you have one more variable, which is top 2 is equal to, like, the array dot length -1, something like that. And you can play around with that in the code. It may not be too hard, guys. Like, in case you find it to be difficult, you can ask me, I can give you the code for that. Okay, so this point I just wanted to ask, just a second. Just wanted to ask, like, are you able to actually understand the? This is never accepted by any interviewer. Let me repeat again, guys. So what we have done is we have taken a string called hello world, and what we initially thought is capital A is not equal to small a, and small a is equal to small a, capital A is equal to capital A. So interviewer told us, do not use any string inbuilt methods. So that's why we have to convert our string into a character array. So this is our character array. So after we converted that into a character array, we need to write code in such a way so that we need to calculate if it is unique or not. So for that, what I told you is, there is this apple is something that we have taken as a input, and we are trying to compare every character that is there in this string to every other character. So we have started our for loop with I is equal to 0, and then we started one more loop, which is j is equal to I plus 1, and then we started comparing character array of I is equal to character array of j. If that is the case, then you are returning true, or else you are returning false. With this, we have two for loops in our solution. So that's why our complexity is becoming order of n square. And I told you that interviewer is not going to accept your solution, right? So this way, we need to improve our solution. The next question which comes is, how do you improve your solution? Whenever somebody asks you how do you improve your solution, you should know where is the point that you are consuming more thing, right? You should know how do you improve your solution. It's not a naive question, it's not a straight away question, improve your solution for me. So it's like he's expecting something from you. He's expecting something from you of giving more, explanation or how you can improve your solution. So maybe I'll tell you how do we improve the solution right now, guys. But here let's actually understand what is taking more, what is taking more thing over here. Let's say what happens, we are trying to compare every character with every other character, right? So that's why we are taking two for loops. So we need to improve this part. But okay, fine. At this point I want to ask one more thing, guys. Good that you understood. So here what I want to say is uh, for example, let's say our string that we have taken apple, which is having five what do you call, five characters. We will be ending up, in a worst case we'll be ending up with 5 square, which is 25 comparisons, and that is not good at all. That's why we thought we need to improve this in a way. So now asking right questions to the interviewer is the heart, guys. So that's why what I want to say is, whenever we converted a string into a character array, generally in Java or any programming language, string contains ASCII values. Okay, string contains ASCII values. ASCII values are nothing but, I think ASCII, the full form is American Standard Code for something. I don't exactly remember, but what I want to tell you is, for example, let's say let me search that for you. Where is this? ASCII characters, right? Okay, something like this, which came to my, okay, American Standard Code for information interchange, right? This is a code for every character in APPLE. So you have seen, so every character has a unique number internally, guys. For example, so what happens is we have this number. For example, what is that? Uh, A. The capital A has a number called 65. Okay, capital A has a number called 65. And for example, our small a has a code called 97. I think you might have learned this in your computer science, and if you do not learn also, that's fine, no problem. Here what I want to actually say is, for every character, which means a star symbol or 1 2 3 plus symbol, minus symbol, whatever, there is a unique code which gets mapped, right? For number 0, there is this code called 48, right? For example, number I, there is this code called 73. So what I can say is, the maximum code that an ASCII character can support is 255. 255. So what I want to say is, from 200 and from zero, from zero, right? There is something like this. Yeah, it starts from zero, and until 255, you can form a string, any Java string or in any programming language, you can form a string only with this 255 characters. The character number starts from 0 and it comes with 255 characters. In any string, we can see a symbol, something like this, or we can see some single quote, double quote. We can write some example like this, right? Let's say I say, something like this, you know, or maybe I can do something like this. This is also a string, guys. This is also a Java string. What I want to say here is, this one has a unique ASCII character. This number has a unique ASCII character. The H has a unique ASCII character, and the less than or greater than symbol has a unique ASCII character. And the total number, the maximum number of that ASCII character is 256. Okay. So even if you do not know about this, that's fine. Actually, I'm trying to implement a logic so that we can use this concept, right? We can use this concept. I told you this concept is useful not just in this interview question, guys. Any interview question that you see, you can actually use this and try to improvise your solution. Okay, and try to improvise your solution. So here what I want to say is, when I say that the maximum characters that can take is 256, right? What I want to do over here is I will be taking one character array. I'll name that as, for example, chars. Okay, I'll name this as a chars. Okay, so in this, what I want to say is the maximum size is length is 256 is equal to 256. So why is this 256? Let me try to explain this to you. So what I want to say is there is this character array. It has some number, something like this, something like this, something like this, and finally it ends. Okay. So in our example, we have something like this: A P P L E. So we have this what you call this string called apple. We converted that into a character array. In our example, or what we have seen as per our ASCII code, is A has a unique ASCII code, P has a unique ASCII code, P has a unique ASCII code, L has a unique ASCII code, something like this. What I want to say is we are trying to achieve this not in order of n square. Maybe we'll try to achieve that in a better way. What I want to say is maybe I'll try to write a for loop. Okay, I'll try to write a for loop for, okay, int I is equal to 0, I less than, here character array, let's say char array dot length I plus plus. Okay, so I've written something like this, which means my iteration starts from A until this E. So here I have taken this character array, right? I've taken this character array chars. Okay, chars. So here I want not this to be a character array, but I want this to be a Boolean array. Okay, so I want this to be a Boolean array. So which means it can either have value of true or false. Okay, so it can have a value of either true or false. What I want to do is I'm iterating over the total character array, right? So here what I will do is, for example, let's say I encounter a word called A, or a character called A. So what I can say is I can have some value called, I can say, let's say int value is equal to char array of I. What I say is character value of I, which means here I say, here it starts with 0, so it will give me a value called A. Okay, a value called A. So when I say value called A, I am taking that A into a value which is an integer. So which means what will come over here is there is this A which is mapped to a particular number. So in that case, what happens? A maps to 97, right? A maps to 97. So which means I'll be getting a value called 97 in my value, right? 97 in my value. What I want to do over here is, I told you that the length of this 256 at some index called 97, I want to make this as true. Okay, I want to make this as true. Similarly, at index of P, which means, for example, let's say P, what is my P saying? My P is saying something like this. My P is giving me a value of 112. So at a particular number called 112, 112, at a particular index called 112, I'm making that also true. Okay, so similarly, what I want to do is I want to make those values as true. So while you make this character array is true, next time when a word comes, we will check if that particular value is already true or not. If it is true, which means that it is coming for the second time. What I want to say is, like, in this value, we got a number called 97, and next time we got a number called 116. Next time also we're getting 116 as a number. We will be going and checking in our array, okay, our array, which is chars, which is a Boolean array. Okay, we'll be checking if we have this number to be true. If yes, then it is unique. If not, it's not unique. You're getting the point, guys? Here, what I'll try to do is, maybe I'll try to write only this one. You just come here. Here, what I say is character chars is an array. So what is this value? Is equal to character array of value is equal to what I will try to do is I'll try to make this as true. Okay, I'll try to make this as true. which means I have encountered to a value called P, right? True. But here, before this, I will check if I'm having that value or not. I'll show you the code, guys. This is so simple code. Okay. This is so simple code. We are doing that in a more efficient way. Okay. What I have done is I have taken a chars array, which is a Boolean array, and my input I've taken hello, hi, something like this. So what I try to do is I'm trying to iterate it. Okay. I'm trying to get a value out of it, and I'm checking chars value. It is what? It is a Boolean array, right? It is a Boolean array. I'm checking the chars of value, which means this particular value, is it already taken to be true, which means we have P, right? If the P is again coming, then which means it is true. It is already true. So I will say it's not unique. I mean, I will return false from here, or else I'll return true over here. What I want to say is, because of this approach, since we have taken something like this, we are able to formalize our solution only in a single loop. Let me try to run this for you guys. I'll try to run this for you. So what it says, it is false because I is coming for 2 times. Okay. So again, let me remove this. And here what comes is, I'm trying to run it again. And hello, hi, it comes as true because H, capital H and small h both are false. With this, what I want to conclude is, guys, we are trying to achieve the solution. We are trying to achieve the solution in only a single loop. Here we are trying to achieve the solution only in a single loop, but previously is unique, we have written that in 2 loops, right? Previously we have done that in 2 loops. So now, since we brought this to only a single loop, the time complexity will become to order of n, and this order of n solutions are widely accepted by interviewers, right? We can even make it even more efficient, guys, but maybe this is not the time. In our further classes, we can try to make this even more efficient. But at this point, guys, I just want to ask, are you able to understand what I try to achieve? Okay, so tomorrow we'll be doing URLifier string compression, string anagram, and string paragram. So we'll be using, these are big names I told you, but we'll be using the concepts that we have learned till now and make these things easy to solve. Right. With this point, guys, let me end this today's session. Please practice. And one more thing is like try searching or try solving more questions, right? Maybe in HackerRank, or maybe in lead code or something. My thing is, like, I'll be giving you the set of questions to solve slowly. I don't want to dump, but there are people who may think we are going slow or something. So if you want to go even very fast, you can solve as many questions and post them in the group, but that will be inspiring for the other people as well. So with this point, guys, let's stop this session for today, and have a nice day. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye bye.